Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom, boom, boom. Major look.
Yeah, once again, thanks for tuning in. You listen to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone that's out there in the workforce, first and foremost. And, many blessings to you. Also, big salute to the WCS supporters always. Those who drop in the live chat, pull up, and support the channel. You look at the title and you say to yourself, man, we're talking about Devin Haney again. You know what I'm saying? But this is a helpful and needed warning to those of you that understand the agitprop the media put out there. So I just want to touch bases with it. It's not going to be a long live, but we're going to touch bases on some things when it comes to the lack of respect that Devin Haney is receiving right now in the sport of boxing. All right. It's a big deal because he does hold a world title in the lightweight division. He absolutely does. But at the moment, when it's considered on who he should fight next or who the fans want to see him fight next, he has so many fighters that's hitting the detour button. You know what I'm saying? They're going the opposite way instead of stepping into the ring with him. So I'm not saying that they're ducking. All right. I'm not saying that they're ducking Devin Haney. But what I am saying is once they give their reason for not fighting Devin Haney, it's always about him not being an entertaining fighter. You know what I'm saying? I beg to differ. I understand that he lacks power, but if you want to talk about his fight that he had with Jorge Linares at the end of May, right? He pretty much put on a boxing clinic that entire 10 rounds. I'm not going to lie. So when it comes down to boxing education, what are you here for? You're here for boxing. You're here for the technique and the discipline of the sport. So I can't say he's not an entertaining fighter. I guess it's all about who he fights. You know what I'm saying? His fight with Jorge Linares was much different than his fight with your New Yorkers Gamboa. First in the building, King Mitch, what's good with you? Always appreciate your support there, Mitch. Appreciate you pulling up once again. So let me get to some screenshots that I have, right? I want to make you aware of something. I read through, I surf on, the internet and read several articles. And I want to put out a warning to those of you that roll up on Boxing News 24. Boxing News 24 has put out bogus articles about Deontay Wilder, and they basically put out some bogus content and criteria about Devin Haney. So we're about to go over this, and I want you to be aware, if you're up here reading this, when it comes down to some of these boxing authors, they they have the green light to press play on their own article. Some of these guys have a quota to meet. They have a quota to meet with these articles. Some of these guys are not proofreading their work and they're just putting it out here. It may be purposely done or it may be their oversight. They're not paying attention to detail in their professional work, especially when you're out here speaking of other fighters that's on the highest tier of boxing. You want to make sure you get it all the way right. So let's get to it, y'all. Let me get to the first part of the article. This was written by Dan Ambrose of Boxing News 24. All right. He just starts off the article talking about, Devin Haney potentially maybe fighting in October. The months keep on changing, but you can just pretty much put this together, right? He may potentially be fighting in October against Richard Comey and Gary Russell Jr. Now, we know the history that goes into mentioning Gary Russell Jr.'s name with Devin Haney. Several months ago, when we was bored during the pandemic in 2020, shit popped off between, Team Haney and Team Russell. Well, I'll say Mr. Gary Russell Jr. And it was some back and forth verbal sparring online. I mean, this went on forever and a day. Shout out to Batman. Batman was in the fray. He was in the fighting hole. It was going back and forth about potentially Gary Russell fighting Devin Haney fighting Gary Russell. But it was all a ploy. It was just all a facade. It really gave Devin Haney a lot of time to promote his next fight with Yorkis Gamboa. The bad thing about it, that it did nothing more to promote him as a boxer, to put his name out there and build up his popularity grading system. Now, I'm not saying Devin Haney is not a guy that's hard to like, but the time and effort that was put in from Bill Haney, Batman, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., the collective platforms that participated in hosting the panels for these fighters. After it was all said and done, Gary Russell went and did what he had to do, and Devin Haney went and fought who he was already scheduled to fight in November, which was Yorkis Gamboa. Now, this is what I get to with this. This just hits the nail on the head when the countless hours that was put into that back and forth on YouTube. And you would think the performance itself was going to blend in with that. It was going to inject, it was going to transfer all that momentum, all that high energy that was delegated online into the ring. People really didn't go for the performance. People really didn't digest the fact that Devin Haney said he wanted to prove he can pitch a shutout after he said he was going to be the one to do him the dirtiest, right? We already know his words. We already know what he said, right? So let's go on to this article right here and follow me if you can. Dan Ambrose from Boxing News 24. And there's going to be some mistakes in here, but I want you to just listen to what's going on. He said Haney 22 would be taking a tremendous risk in defending against a big punching Comey or the lightning fast Russell. All right. So he compliments Comey and Russell. All right. Devin is coming off a disappointing 12-round decision win over Javier Fortuna on May 29th in a fight where he was hurt the entire second half of the contest. I can't make this up. You see my screenshot that's out here that's saying the same exact thing. So I want y'all to be very clear that this is a screenshot. This is not something I typed up. I can screen share right quick the article so you can see it. But I really want you to look at the screenshot while I'm reading off the actual article. Dwayne Freeman, what's good? Salute to you, my brother. Daniel Smith, salute. Why don't you wait till people show up, fam? It's all good. I look at the numbers and my numbers are always what they are. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a large volume of individuals that's in my chat. So the usual people show up, like King Mitch always shows up, and certain other individuals. But I get what you're saying. But to be honest, Daniel, you're not the one that show up. I get what you're saying, but it's not like you're the first one in the chat. But real talk, man, I appreciate you for pulling up in the live chat, man. I don't let the room fill up, because there's really not that many people that really, want to come over here and listen to me sometime. Either I'm talking about boxing or MMA, but it's absolutely okay with me. That's why I start what I start. They can catch up. They can hit the replay. Sometime or another in life, it will happen. But I appreciate your input, my brother. So back to what I was saying about Dan Ambrose's article. It goes on to say that Devin, listen to me, Devin is coming off a disappointing 12-round decision win over Javier Fortuna on May 29th in his fight where he was hurt the entire second half of the contest. Now, I want to provide clarity to you all that tune and lock in the Boxing News 24. Be careful about what you're reading, because there are a lot of mistakes or lack of knowledge thereof when these guys are putting out this info. Let's go on. It says Michael Benson is reporting that Haney's promoter, listen to it, Haney's promoter, Eddie Hearns, say he's open to matching Devin 26-0, 15 knockouts against Comey 30-3, 27 knockouts, or featherweight Gary Russell Jr. 31-1, 18 knockouts next in October, if World Boxing Council mandatory Jojo Diaz Jr. takes on Ryan Garcia. Now, the speculation has been, like a carousel up in this motherfucker, man. It's like 1 minute Jojo Diaz say he's gonna fight Haney, the next he's fighting Ryan Garcia. It's just all over the place on who he's gonna fight next. Then the name Gervonta Davis came up. We don't know who Jojo Diaz is gonna fight, but we already know he fought Gary Russell Jr. at a lighter weight class and he lost. It was a very good fight, but Gary Russell Jr. outworked him. Moving on. It says both Haney and Hearn don't appear to be too pleased with Diaz Jr. 28. So let me switch to my next screenshot for y'all. While I'm getting past this article right here. It said both Haney and Hearn don't appear to be too pleased with Diaz Jr. 28 suddenly changed his mind about wanting to fight for the WBC title after his win over Javier Fortuna on July 9th in a 135-pound title eliminator. Now, you just heard them mention earlier about Devin's coming off a disappointing 12-round decision win over Javier Fortuna, right? And then a couple paragraphs down, it says, suddenly changing his mind about wanting to fight for the WBC title after his win over Javier Fortuna July 9th. So we all know May 29th and July 9th, they have common numeric characters, but there was different dates, obviously different names. Anyway, it's an oversight and an error. If Diaz Jr. chose to go through with the fight with Ryan Garcia, he would be the second straight WBC mandatory that chose not to face Haney after winning the title eliminator. Now, to me, this is a problem for Devin Haney. Ryan Garcia, from my understanding, put his legal team and basically say, you talk with them and tell them I'm not fighting them and reason why I'm not fighting them. So now Jojo Diaz is in the slot. And we're looking at Jojo Diaz basically having no interest. 1 minute he seems like he has interest to fight Haney. The next, he seems like he has interest to fight a fighter for which he feels that he can get more pay from. I don't know what the deal is on why they're basically I don't know, treating Devin Haney as the lightweight black sheep. I don't know where this would come from, really. Like, I can see if he was a repeated drug, doping offender. I can see if he was doing Tyson Fury type shit. But we're talking about a boxer that's pretty much living a healthy lifestyle and stay out of sight, out of mind if you don't have a fight. That's my whole point of making this. They treating him like he's the orphan of boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't want to give him no respect. And not only seeing the boxers jealous of the fact of treating Devin Haney serious, it's the writers that's coming at Haney. The writers are downplaying Haney's capability. That's quite different from what you hear on YouTube. You will hear people out here just applauding, cheering, boosting, you know what I'm saying? Just increasing Devin Haney's, Wall Street in the sport, saying he's one of the best. They're just basically give him all the praise in the world. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's not resonating outside of the YouTube community. The YouTube community is at a point right now where we're not changing or having influence enough in the sport of boxing to the point where someone makes changes because of what's been said on YouTube. Now, I'm not saying people don't listen to YouTube. All right. I'm just saying we can speak about boxing all day, but we're not making fights. It's not like they're looking at the back and forth interviews and live streams and everything with boxers and say, you know what, that's a good fight to make. I seen it on this channel right here. Let's make that fight. That's not happening. They talk about if Diaz chooses to go through the fight with Ryan Garcia, he will be the second straight WBC mandatory that choose not to face Haney after winning the title eliminator. What's the purpose of title eliminators? The only title eliminator that I know that worked out effectively in the lightweight division in recent months was who? Teofimo Lopez. He fought Masayoshi Nakatani to get the Richard Comey. Once Richard Comey, second round KO. And then he went to fight the second in command pound for pound multi-division world champion Vasily Lomachenko. That's the only one that was effective. I have to salute the IBF for their solid structure and organization. Let's go to the next. It says right now, Haney's popularity or the lack thereof make him someone that isn't important enough to fight. He got the WBC lightweight title, and that's about it. I'm going a little bit off script from where you see on my thumbnail because I wanted to then touch on some points. I didn't want to have a crazy amount of thumbnails. But look at my thumbnail right now. It say at 5'4.5", Russell Jr. will be giving away a lot of size and age to the 5'8" Haney. But that might not matter. Russell Jr. will likely beat him if Haney is anywhere near as bad as he looked against Linares. Let me read that second half once again. Russell Jr. will likely beat him if Haney is anywhere near as bad as he looked against Linares. Now, as much as I criticize Devin Haney in a sense when it's comparable to the lightweight dimension, just the lightweight organization, that doesn't mean it's personal. But I have to defend Devin Haney in this particular case because it's straight up bullshit, dog. They're trying to say that he looked bad against Linares when he was out there doing everything that you would ask of a boxer to go in there and entertain the fans. The fight, look, the combinations he was throwing and how defensively sound he was harmonized. He was in there moving and dancing. He was moving and dancing. And only in the 10th round, he gets caught. So 1 minute they say, Let's praise Baranchik and Cepeda for getting knocked down. It was an epic fight. Let's praise Ryan Garcia for getting off the canvas against Luke Campbell. Let's praise all these cats that are getting dropped and getting back up and fighting on, right? But he gets touched one time in a fight. He gets hurt. He comes out, and let's just say his legs wasn't there. All right? Let's just say his legs wasn't there. He still made it to the final bell and won the fight. Bias. Straight up. Straight up bias. Let's keep it moving. It really means that Haney isn't a popular fighter, and his style of fighting is on the dull side. They say it really means that Haney isn't a popular fighter, and his style of fighting is on the dull side. Now, boxing, in this particular case right here, boxing can be that way. You know what I'm saying? Just because you dressed up and you look like a boxer, your actions and your rhythm is as a boxer. You entertain the boxing audience as a boxer. Your technical skill set is on a high level. You're smooth with it. The curriculum of your boxing training is on display each and every time. People admire how Devin Haney's technical skills are. But when it comes to the criticism, just like they gave Floyd Mayweather, just like they gave Corey Spinks, just like they would give Paulie Malignaggi, and if you look at what they're saying about Devin Haney in this time, is the fact that he lacks power, right? Not only that, being that he understands he lacks power, he actually was more aggressive his last fight against Jorge Linares. That doesn't mean he presented any more power in what he was trying to execute in the ring. It's the fact that him and Bill are listening to the fans, so to speak. They might not listen to all the motherfuckers that's out here talking about, but they listen to some. And I totally understand where they're going with it. Like, they're retaining some of the information, a lot of the information they're seeing out here, and they're trying to come up with a game plan on how to make Devin Haney more popular with the crowd. It's needed. The reason why it's needed is so they can come see him fight, man. He's gonna at some point in time leave the lightweight division. When he steps up to the junior welterweight division, there need to be changes made before then. If he's ever going to be a PPV star and make that big time money, there are changes that have to be made. He has to build up his popularity. Teofimo Lopez, you might say to yourself, like, yeah, he was on the high, but now he's on the low because, a situation going on with him and George Kambosos, he don't want to fight the mandatory. That shit happens. But I'm going to tell you, Teofimo Lopez know how to talk to the camera. He know how to provide interviews. I mean, that's just what he does. He'll be back in the ring whenever that happens. But for Devin Haney, some people want to see more of Devin Haney speak. They want to see him in interviews. They want to hear him. They want to engage with Devin Haney. They just don't want to see him on IG or social media, and then when it's time for him to fight, he comes to and visit YouTube, and for whatever channels that he signed on to support, that's the only people he talked to. I get that he's trying to keep it clean, and organized, and don't have a sloppy social media presence. I get it, bro. But everybody isn't the same. Some people can be on social media all the time and say what they say, and people just gravitate to it. They say, oh, this is what we want to see. And then some cats like Devin Haney, he has to do something different with his social media presence. He has to build up his following. If they ever was to come and see him on PPV, he needs to switch it up and do something different. They say right now, Haney popularity, or the lack thereof, make him someone that isn't important enough to fight. someone that isn't important enough to fight. He got the WBC lightweight title, and that's about it. And that's true words right there. Haney does have the WBC title, but him, the person, the name, DHP, people are still looking for something, to shine that diamond on. They're looking for that moment. They're looking for that moment of electricity. You know what I'm saying? That electrifying moment that takes him to another tier. Right now, they understand he has a WBC title. But the fucked up thing about the scales of understanding when it comes to that shit is that Mauricio diluted the WBC title. And now boxing is diluting the name of Devin Haney. The reason why his name is being diluted is they're waiting for him to step in there with a top tier name in the lightweight division. But to his defense, I believe at this point in time, the motherfuckers that's saying he ain't worthy or he ain't important and he's not popular enough for them to step in the ring is bullshit. It's becoming bullshit. Like the strings on the violin is motherfucking frayed all playing that same damn song. Like y'all motherfuckers have to understand something. It's not like the lightweight division is super deep. But when you have the number one, you have the interim champion Ryan Garcia refusing to fight. Come on, refusing to fight, dog. He's refusing to fight. Okay, so that's another top 5 name they wanted to call that was a Fab 5, Ryan Garcia. All right. Who else? Teofimo Lopez? That didn't happen. That's not going to happen. He'll probably fight for Vasily Lomachenko. That's another one out of the dang top 5. Gervonta Davis. That's not even close to happen. That's like waiting on the eclipse. So I'm going to stop at those 3 names right there. I'm not even going to mention Vasily Lomachenko. You have Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, and Gervonta Davis. None of them are conversing about fighting Devin Haney. That's bad. Hearn should think twice before letting Haney fight Russell or Comey, because those guys are a lot more experienced than he is, and they could take advantage of his chin issues. So if you look at the language, and he said experience, Devin Haney is 26-0, 15 knockouts, right? His knockouts is going to come every so often. But with 26 victories, with a record like that being displayed at the highest tier in the lightweight division, and you're hosting the WBC World Championship right now, I don't agree with the experience aspect of what he's talking about with Comey, and Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell does have more, but Gary Russell's been fighting once a year. His body's preserved. And regardless of his side, if he was to step in there with Devin Haney, it would be a damn good fight, bro. The hand speed and the technical know-how and the masterclass of how Gary Russell Jr. has basically displayed throughout his career. It'll be great to see him go in there against another fighter like Haney who can box too. Different speed when it comes to the hands and the combinations and all that. But educational wise, it would be a damn good showing. All right. Haney would have lost his last fight against Linares if the referee had stepped in and warned or penalized him for his constant holding that he was using to survive in the championship rounds after getting hurt. I mean, I don't know how long this guy's been following boxing. I don't know how long I don't even know if he even knows who Devin Haney is after looking him up for an hour or two. I truly don't. Obviously, he didn't watch the fight. For him to say the championship rounds, where's the championship rounds anyway? Is it 11 and 12 or is the 9, 10th, 11 and 12? You tell me. But you trying to explain to the boxing audience that for one, if he gets hurt, he should just put his hands down by his side. No holding, no holding, no holding. It's extreme bias when I'm reading this article. You know what I'm saying? Because what is the man supposed to do? He's supposed to box smart. If his legs are not there, he go out there and do what he's taught to do. Hold on until you dial back in your equilibrium and get ready to, continue the box. This guy act like he was just up there holding and trying to change levels for a takedown and making the fight just super dirty. That wasn't the case. Extremely biased, man. It said, hopefully Haney doesn't have any lingering issues with his punch resistance after being hurt several times by Linares. If Haney is now prone, look what they say. If Haney is now prone to suffering concussions, he would not last long against Comey or Russell. Now, once again, this is extreme bias and prejudice. And what I'm speaking of is the fact that now they're implying that Haney may have concussions. But check this out, though. They wasn't saying that shit when he was stepping in there with Linares. Linares had 5 losses, all knockouts. No one was on here talking about, man, I wonder, does he have residual effects from taking damage during those losses? He has 5 losses where he was knocked out. But Haney is undefeated. And the criticism was that he doesn't have a chin. So who pretty much have touched that chin as of recent was Jorge Linares, okay? Yes, he hurt Haney at the bell and he was able to go sit on the stool. It's not like he's receiving that Jared Hurd, Luis Aries type of punishment. It wasn't like he's receiving that J-Rock and Jason Rosario or that Jamel Charlo Jason Rosario. It wasn't like he was receiving that Brian Castano Jamel Charlo. I've just collectively grouped them together because it was very much a lot of action going on in that fight. But this article, this shit is extremely prejudiced. It said if Haney is now prone to suffering concussion, who said he had a concussion? Who diagnosed Devin Haney with a concussion, though? And then styles make fights. When Comey went in there against Beltran's style was tailor-made for Comey's style. Russell and Devin Haney will link up better for a very competitive boxing match than I believe Devin Haney, Richard Comey. Richard Comey possesses power, but the speed factor, it's not even close. I just want to touch on the bottom half. Let me get to some of these comments. See who in the building. Man, Big Dog in the building. What's good? Marine Corps in the house. What is the point of a number 1 mandatory if they refuse to fight for the belt? Solid. A1. You know what I'm saying? I agree. Andrew Charles in the building. Boots on deck. Haney cruises past both Comey and Gary Russell, in my opinion. Comey is an ass. Rolly might beat him. Gary Russell Jr. is tough. Oh, Comey is ass. Gary Russell Jr. is tough, but I don't know about him at lightweight. So you're saying Rolly might beat Comey. So let me touch on Mitch's comment because, it becomes tennis sometime between myself and Mitch. But he said he cruises past Comey. That's possible. But I don't see him cruising past Gary Russell just because of the size. And then when you say Comey is ass, I disagree, man. I went to several of his fights. I don't consider him as ass just because he got knocked out by Teofimo Lopez. Why? Because guess who went up there? Guess who went the distance with Jackson Marinez? Rolly Romero. So when you want to look at what Teofimo Lopez was to do, come on now. Rolly Romero went the distance with Jackson Marinez, but Comey went in there and finished him. Come on, Mitch. Rolly might beat him. Gary Russell Jr. is tough, but I don't know about him in lightweight. I totally approve, just like in MMA. I totally approve if Gary Russell want to move up to this division from 26. Why is people acting like it's impossible? I mean, come on. I mean, why is it impossible for him to move up? Like Devin Haney is just this huge guy. Have y'all not seen the heavyweight division? Have y'all not seen the light heavyweight division? I'm just skipping over cruiserweight. The light heavyweight division? Have y'all not seen the super middleweight division? Everybody rehydrates differently. Then, of course, if you're fighting Canelo Alvarez, he have rehydration clause in his contract, but you know what I'm talking about. Andrew Charles says, salute fam, big dog. I'm starting to feel like there's some behind the scenes backroom dealings going on to freeze out Haney. Maybe it's the promoters. I don't know. It's ridiculous. None of these guys want to fight Haney for a belt. And it goes back up to the top. Big Dog said, what is the point of a number one mandatory? What is the point of being the mandatory, the number one mandatory if they refuse to fight for the belt? And that's where I speak on boxing all the time. It seems like they're missing components to make shit happen like this. It's just like, who's running the asylum? Look, didn't they just say recently that the promoters, they work for the fighters, right? But we rarely see where that's effective, that the promoters are listening to the fighters. And then if the fighters really want to fight another fighter that's considered one of the top ranking best, they can make it happen. We all know that's partially true. But then in this case right here, you look at the situation where fighters are turning down as the number one mandatory. They refusing to fight the next one up. So who's in charge in the chain of command to say, no, you need to fight that person. Now you need to fight this person. If we're going to have Jojo Diaz back out from Devin Haney, and then we had Ryan Garcia back out from Devin Haney, something else need to be revised. We need something revised. Let me read this second half. He said Haney would have lost his fight against Linares if the referee hadn't stepped in and warned and penalized. Why would he be penalized? Yeah, the man was hurt, but look, it seems like you wanted to see him get knocked out. That's what I'm gathering. It seems like this Dan Ambrose wanted to see Devin Haney get knocked out. It goes on to say on the surface, that may seem like they're avoiding Haney, but it's more like indicative of him not being a popular fighter with the large fan base and the money not being in line with what Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz Jr. can get elsewhere. So this is my question. How much more money are they getting? Because as boxing fans, we really don't see the books. I want to know how much money are these fighters getting fighting someone opposite of a world champion that's holding the WBC strap? How much money are you getting? Do they feel like they're going to get lowball facing Haney because it's an A-side, B-side thing and they're not trying to pay the B-side too much anything? I mean, what's the numbers looking like? What's the numbers looking like? Like, we can cry foul. Some people are crying foul that some of these fighters, they're judging the speed and the boxing ability, you know what I'm saying, the elusiveness and the boxing IQ of Devin Haney. It may be a bit much for them to step in the ring and believe that they can beat him in a 12-round fight. We can say they might be on the Duck Masters Coalition. You never know. But if we want to catalog his last couple of fights, I cannot no way, shape, or form fragment my integrity and say his last fight with Jorge Linares was garbage. I can't do that. I can't say it was garbage. I didn't like the Gamboa fight, But what I seen in the Linares fight is the fact that it seems like him and his pops had a conversation and they changed up the game plan and there was a lot more aggressive in there. It's not like they're, from what I'm seeing, from what that told me in that Jorge Linares fight, is that they're trying to make changes to build up the fan base. They're trying, dog. They're making the necessary adjustments, understanding that Devin Haney, the power might not grow anymore in his career. But that doesn't mean he can't go in there and continue to be fast, elusive, and be technically sound with his boxing IQ and win these fights. It's boxing at the beginning and the end of the day. So that lets me know that they're listening to what the fans are saying. Every time I turn around, Bill on somebody's platform talking. The man's out here in the trenches putting in work. I definitely have to salute him for the hard grind, because regardless of him sitting up there as lush as they are, he's still out here grinding for Devin. But it seems like it's having no effect, because the fighters that's supposed to step in there with a decent name, what are they doing? They're heading in reverse. They're heading in the opposite direction. When is this shit gonna stop? These are who you saying at one point in time was the Fab Five shit. All of a sudden, Jojo Diaz come up here and he fight Javier Fortuna, another one that bailed out from fighting Haney. He fights Javier Fortuna, wins. Now Jojo Diaz is in the mix. The same Jojo Diaz that lost his title being overweight. So he moves up to 135, and now all of a sudden he's a big name. Man, I ain't feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Real talk. I'm just clowning on Comey. I think he ain't shit. Just a personal opinion, though. Devin needs the showdown with Tank. He wins. That he's a mega. He's a mega star. He goes in there and gets the fight with Tank Davis. It's going to be a huge fight. No one can talk about the check. No one can talk about the only thing they can talk about is the fight going to be on PPV, because we know Tank Davis is, Floyd Mayweather is all about putting him on PPV. So the fight's going to be on PPV. The only thing about it, they're going to talk about the pay-per-view numbers, which are going to be very respectable. If we're talking about Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. Very respectful. Very respectable. But that fight won't happen anytime soon. It won't happen. And to be honest with you, it'll be a tough fight for Devin Haney. Seriously, it'll be a tough fight, because I'm going to tell you, y'all can look at that Mario Barrios fight all you want and say, Floyd was ringside to my Tank. You want me to be true? You want me to be real with you, right? You don't want me to lie to you. On the unofficial scorecards, they got you behind. Listen, I was at the fight, dog. Gervonta Davis wasn't losing that motherfucking fight like that. Like, as if it was a soap opera playing out and they wanted to make it interesting for TV, and Floyd had $1 million worth of damn drip on him. I get it, bro. But Gervonta Davis hunts differently in the ring. Devin Haney stepping in there with Gervonta Davis and he defeats him. Absolutely, I agree. I agree with you. He's a megastar money man. I agree with you. Seriously, I agree. Thomas in the building. Salute the money man for being in the building. What's good, man? Appreciate you for pulling up. Thomas in the building. Haney dominated the Linares fight. I think they tried to get him out of there because of the media and what the fake boxing fans want. What I mean by fake is fans that only like knockouts and don't. Absolutely. Say one more again. Absolutely. You have very much a large group of temporaries that watch the sport. They don't focus on the sport in its entirety. They just focus on certain bits and pieces of the sport. And like Thomas said, these individuals like knockouts. They won't really tune into a fight unless it's somebody that has power. If you get two fighters that's gonna go in there and box, they're gonna be like, nah, man, I ain't looking at that shit, man. You know, see, this brings into the equation of Rolly Romero. Rolly Romero boxing skills. Look, Rolly Romero has some of the worst boxing skills, period, in the sport right now. Period. Okay. But the one thing that's going to bring people to the table with Rolly is his dog nacious mentality to keep moving forward, taking punches and giving punches. He has power. Rolly has this bully mentality. So at one point in time, I was like, man, forget him, man. He looked terrible against Martinez. And his lack of experience shows. But he's now calling Devin Haney a bitch. He say he's a chinny bitch. He's the biggest bitch in boxing. So would I like to see Rolly Romero, Devin Haney? Absolutely, I would. Javante Haney? Absolutely. Ryan Garcia? Yes. I would like to see him fight Teofimo Lopez. Yes, sir. But all these number one mandatories and shit is nothing if they don't step in there and fight. Someone needs to stop this shit. Just like they're trying to mandate COVID-19 vaccinations, they need to damn come up with a plan in boxing to mandate that these number one mandatories are restricted. Once again, they are prohibited. Once again, they are denied from turning down their position as number one mandatory to face the next in line, which is the champion. They are denied, prohibited, restricted. Something needs to come into play, just like this franchise belt come up. Mauricio Suleiman need to do his motherfucking job even better and come up with some restrictions in the standard operating procedures. This is getting insane. Like Stephen A. Smith, this is asinine that you have top tier names turning down a fight with Devin Haney and they want to say he ain't popular enough for them to step in the ring. What the fuck are you doing in the ring? Who are you knocking out on a regular basis? Now, I totally believe Rolly Romero thinks that Devin Haney is chinny. All right. I absolutely believe in his thought process. He believes that, and he wants to step in the ring with Haney. It ain't for the check. It's for the motherfucking respect and recognition. Cause Rolly is like that bully now. I'm seeing like he's a bully, dog. He's a dirty ass fighter, and he really want that fight with Devin Haney. It'll be I don't think it'll do too much for Devin Haney's career to go in there and outbox Rolly Romero, because you think the clinic that he put on Jorge Linares, oh man, this shit with Rolly Romero will be, oh my God. Please don't bring your kids in there. I think it'll be a massacre. But once again, Rolly Romero is going to try his best to slow him down and follow him around the ring. Man, he don't even know how to properly cut off the ring. He sits down on damn near every punch. And Devin Haney is going to give him the popcorn to watch the movie. Pop, 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 pop. Butter on that. Pop, 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 pop. It'll be a massacre, dog. Like Shakur Stevens said, it'll be a massacre. Shit. Appreciate the science and skills. Absolutely, bro. The hype up for that will be epic. Yes, sir. I can see Tank late stoppage of Haney decision. Money man, let me tell you like this, man. I seen Tank spar. I seen him fighting. He will fight Haney different than he fought any other fighter. Tank. You know why? Because he doesn't have anything like he even said it in the post-fight presser that he was kind of fearful about, whether Mario Barrios can hurt him or not. He's going to go in there with Devin Haney without respecting if he has enough power to hurt him, because Tank can take a punch. With that eliminated, Tank is going to use an entirely different offensive strategy to close distance and punish Devin Haney. And we all know Tank can motherfucking punch. And he's quick. Devin is quick. Both of these guys has tremendous speed. Man, shout out to Stormy B in the building. Stormy B, man, in the building, man. Y'all be sure to check him out, sub to his channel. Man, he got some good shit going on over there. Educational type media that he's feeding the audience out there. Y'all make sure y'all go with Stormy B. I don't have to tell you. You know what it is. Rolly can't beat JoJo. We don't know. We don't know. Because like I said before, Rolly Romero is a bully. He's a legitimized bully, certified. Is his boxing skills improving from Jackson Marinez to what we've seen in his recent fight? You know, in my opinion, it's still recyclable garbage, man. And, you know, you can recycle shit and bring it back into something different, but yet it's still recyclable garbage. Like I said before, I love to see him step in there with Haney because I think it'll be an absolute goddamn Halloween massacre. Just addition 3 to 4 or 5 levels on what happened to Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares can actually box. Rolly, he is a bruiser, a brawler. He's going to continue to move forward. You punch him, and if Haney cannot stop and earn his respect when he land those solid punches, Rolly's going to keep on coming. I'd like to see that fight with Rolly Romero and JoJo. You know what I'm saying? That franchise BS. Rolly is an Edison Miranda. Damn. Rolly, I believe he might be a Joshua Clody too. Rolly is Rolly, I believe, is chinny and too sloppy. I see that. Well, this is what he's trying to say. Money Man, you said Rolly, I believe, is chinny and too sloppy. So what fight are we gauging that off of? Him being chinny. Chinny is what he implied to Devin Haney because of Devin Haney's last fight with Linares, right? In order for you to consider a fighter to be chinny, it has to be a moment in one of their encounters in the ring that they was hurt. Not only just them being hurt, we look at the time it takes for them to recover and continue to fight, regain their momentum and push forward. And then if they get hurt again, it all depends on the recovery time and how they handle it and were they able to inflict punishment on their opponent. Not everybody can have that gaudy respect. Not everybody can have the Mickey Ward respect in that essence. And, you know, as we always turning back the real and looking at these fights where it was just punishment. Joshua Clody, he was a good fighter, but what I'm saying is, respect-wise, you know, they kind of treat him like Berto. You know, one of those fighters that's good, but no one will really have them in their conversations being great. But back to the task at hand, though. What do you all think about this Devin Haney situation? What do y'all think? The link is in the chat, man, for anybody who want to jump on the panel. I know I don't do panels all the time. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I appreciate the ones who pull up. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Believe me. The 8 of y'all that's in this building, yes, sir, salute to you. Thanks for falling in, man. And listen to the dang boxing, the boxing live. These sanctioning bodies should drop mandatories from the rankings completely if they clearly duck a title shot. But we all know they'll just give them interim silver or gold belt and collect fees. Hey, I don't even have any response to that. True words. You pretty much sum that shit up. I have absolutely no response to that because it makes a lot of sense. Now, just because they refuse and they're mandatory, and for them to be dropped in the rankings, and when it comes to boxing, it would be senseless to take that route though, Mitch, because boxing is so loosely designed and no one's going to take it serious. Let's just say you drop a Ryan Garcia, right? And a Jojo Diaz from the rankings. People will be like, where are they at? There'll be people on here doing lives. If you look on the lightweight rankings, you will no longer see Ryan Garcia nor Jojo Diaz Jr. Where are they? Well, just because they turned down the mandatory slot to face Devin Haney, they was dropped from the rankings. That doesn't mean they're not going to receive a fight. They might not be displayed or reflected on the rankings in the lightweight division, but they still going to get a big fight. Guaranteed. Because their names were already up there in the top 6, top 7. People know who they are. And the fans themselves would be like, man, come on. What the fuck is going on with this charade? Stop. Man, put them guys back up in the rankings, man. Who gives a damn if they didn't want to fight? Devin. Who cares? They're going to say, what has Devin done for boxing? What is he? What numbers is he putting up? That's all you're going to hear. Whining, complaining, whining. Whining, complaining, whining. Devin Haney's in a complex situation where the changes that they made to step in there with Jorge Linares and turn up their aggressiveness, PR-wise, something needs to change with Team Haney so they can get more fans to gravitate to Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? To want to see him fight. Because there's too many voices out here that's criticizing this man. They're scrutinizing him for the wrong reasons. Like, 1 minute you would sit up here and talk so much shit about Deontay Wilder's lack of skills, but Devin Haney had skills, but yet you want to complain about his chin. Deontay Wilder gets hit and it's proven he has a solid, respectable chin. Devin Haney gets touched damn near for the first time that we've seen. Like, I'm talking about like real life, real time in the ring. And he stumbles a little bit back to his back to his corner and comes out and he is in survival mode, but it's not like he didn't throw a punch. He wasn't James Kirkland out that motherfucker. Man, come on. He wasn't Ryan Garcia. Did y'all see him land on his shoulder? Was he stretched out on his shoulder? Was he Miguel Burchelt? Did he go down, though? Was he Baranchik or Cepeda? Did he go down? That's all I want to know. Was he down, Amir Khan? Was he down, though? Forget about the wobbly legs. Why is there so much attention given to someone who was hurt by a fighter who had way more professional fights than Devin Haney? And he himself has been knocked out. If a fighter doesn't touch the ground, why is there so much attention given to the point where he was touched on the chin and hurt? But yet, you look at somebody like Mike Tyson, who idolized as a boxing god. They place him in the pantheon of the sport. And he's sit up here and glorified. And he's been on the canvas. Glorified. I don't think at no point in time in Devin Haney's career, he's taken an ass whooping like Mike Tyson did in some of his losses. Right or wrong? You correct me if I'm right or wrong. I think this boxing audience, because it's not a fan base. Boxing is so large, they have an audience. You know, the our audience is individuals that may see an advertisement that a boxing match is going on in their hometown, or just to say it's in the Mecca, one of the Mecca footprints of boxing, Vegas, NYC, MSG, Barclays. They want to check it out. Hey, babe, let's go purchase plane tickets and go over here. Let's go out here and get you something to wear, and let's show up to, this boxing match over here. I think it's going to be a good one, for real. I think these are pretty solid fighters on this card. I'm not for sure, but I was talking to my friend at work, and yeah, they was telling me, hey, if you have the chance, you're not doing anything, you're bored, go check it out. They have audience members like that'll show up, because if you look back in the sport of boxing, it was called a gentleman's sport. MMA, motherfuckers that go to mixed martial arts, I'm not saying all of them, a lot of them, they get the gist of what they're watching. Boxing, they just sit back, they're dressed for the evening, and they're there to watch boxing. Left and right hand, foot movement, angles, speed, defense, offense. It's simplified. That shit is simplified. That's why people will show up to a boxing match. It's simplified. You show up to mixed martial arts, some of the shit you don't know what you're watching. Some people don't want to see BJJ. They don't want to see ground and pound. They don't want to see transitions. They don't want to see clinching, takedowns, spinning kicks where the fighter is able to leave the ground to land a strike. No, they want to see two fighters going in there and giving you the basic fighting structure, or the fighting what was the term old boy used? The fighting system, for which if you was in the street, it's naturally going to be your left and right hands. For somebody that's not really trained in any type of combat sports, it's going to be your left and right hand. It's going to be your fist. You feel me? So that's why a lot of people go into boxing. Once again, that's why some people watch boxing. Not all. It's some people that really understands the sport, and they're enthusiastic fans, hardcore fanatics, and they go check out the sport. But you have so many that would show up for entertainment purposes, have some drinks, eat, go on a little vacation. Hey, by the way, down the street, they're having that boxing match. You want to go? Yeah, why not? Let's get tickets. I'm serious. Money, Thomas say, salute, bro. Great show. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. Put some of these. I just think Comey best is behind. Mitch, you still on Comey, dog? I just think Comey's best is behind him. Haney, Tank, and Loma beats him easy. JoJo could beat him. Ryan Garcia and even Rolly would give him a good fight. Linares fuck around and beat him. But what I can say to that is, it's no need for me to really debate it, because it's a possibility that it's a fighter's fight when it comes to Richard Comey. I cannot count him out like that. I can't count him out like that. You know what I'm saying? I can't. But to caveat on what you said about Hank Taney, Loma beats him, possibly. Styles make fights. Loma has a different style than Tank. Tank has a different style than Haney. You know what I'm saying? Haney and Loma, they have similar fast-paced styles, technically sound, but in between them is Tank. What Tank has that Haney and Loma doesn't have is that damn power. Not only does he have power, he has tremendous speed. Not only does he have tremendous speed, he is a motherfucking savage. He will hunt you down until he is on his target. And then you become prey. That's the respect I got to give Tank, man. So if you were Devin promoters, what fighters would you target and how? Well, looking at it right now, all right, let's just say, what Eddie Hearns had. Eddie Hearns was, Devin Haney promoter, right? So you're asking me, who would I target? I will have to assess the situation on, do I waste my time? Listen to me, money man. Do I waste my time targeting fighters on who Haney should fight? Or do I assess the plan B and say, you know what, let me look for fighters who are willing to fight Devin Haney? I want to look for fighters who Haney wants to fight, because those fighters seem like they don't want to fight Haney. I will kind of look for fighters who are willing to fight Haney. Those fighters may not be the top names in the lightweight division. I'm just keeping it a hundo. Those fighters may not want to step up to the plate and give Haney that time. That TOD, time on deck. They may not want to give him time on deck, y'all. They may not want to give Haney time on deck. I'm gonna stick with that military time on deck. That's a military term we used to use, man, for accountability. When you reporting and giving a head count of platoon, they don't want to give Devin Haney the time on deck, bro. So damn good question. But when it comes to the promoters, it's a lot of fighters they can say, okay, that'll be a good fight. Let's just give an example of Devin Haney facing Ryan Garcia. That would be a good fight, because Ryan Garcia supposedly has all these dang subscribers and followers, right? So Eddie Hearn can say, hey, Devin Haney, that's a good fight. Okay, I agree. Bill, like, okay, we agree. But when Ryan Garcia ends his fight and says, I want to fight Gervonta Davis, Devin Haney should feel some type of way. He should feel some type of way, goddammit. Grit his teeth, goddammit. The fuck these niggas disrespecting me for? He should feel agitated, angry, confused. He should have some type of belligerence that come out and say, God damn, this motherfucking bitch ass goddamn said, oh, we cool and everything and we gonna fight, and then he get up there talking about he want to fight Gervonta. People, and a lot of people, if Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia would have fought when they were supposed to, and supposedly the name was in the air, like Phil Collins rather, in the air tonight, if them two would have stepped in the ring, they would have did decent numbers, because I'm gonna tell you why Ryan Garcia get a pass. Because they think Ryan Garcia is this young, goofy type of individual that they want to cuddle. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't see Ryan Garcia as this young man, this alpha. They see Ryan Garcia, you know what I'm saying, sort of like a beta male. I ain't gonna lie. They see Ryan Garcia as this lovable, like, teddy bear. He's a jovial type individual. When he got knocked down, he was such a good sport. He stood up and said in the post-fight conference, I got knocked down. I was like, wow, I've never been that before. I mean, that goofy shit, black fighters can't get away with that. Devin Haney can't get away with it. Deontay Wilder, sure enough, cannot get away with doing a post-fight conference and being goofy like that. We're not provided that type of response when it comes to socialization. We're not. Both sports are great arts in their own way. Yeah, I agree. But the audience are different, money man. Check the box on your comment. Check the box. I'm green on that. But one thing you have to understand that I use the scenario all the time, there, Money Man, is the fact that Deontay Wilder and John Jones are both black men in combat sports. Both of these individuals have been world champions. But John Jones had popped positive for PEDs, had a hit and run incident, discharged a weapon, all this shit. He had multiple offenses where he was suspended from the sport. Deontay Wilder has not. John Jones has been champion and had his title stripped. But the fans over there, the fans in MMA, they love him. They love him. The type of love John Jones should be, look, the type of love John Jones is getting from his mixed martial arts fan base is the same, but more love Deontay Wilder should be getting. And this is the crazy part about it, Money Man, is the fact that Deontay Wilder and John Jones damn near have the same body structure. Deontay is just a little bit more muscular, but both of these fighters are slim in nature, tall, and they're rangy. Why is one vilified and the other one is adorned? It's crazy. It doesn't make sense. I try to explain this shit in groups and everything. You know, racism exists more in boxing than it does in MMA, in my opinion. Real talk. And that's because there's no order. Killer in the building. What's good? Salute World Combat Sports. What's good with you, bro? How do you get Ryan in the ring? That's a good question, man. You know, because when it comes down to it, Ryan is in the process of doing a movie. I told people long time ago that Ryan Garcia wasn't going to stay in the sport long. He was going to transfer over to the silver screen. And that's exactly what's going on. He's in the process of making a movie with this female, and he's co-starring in this movie about his life. And it's somewhat like a documentary movie. Now, the reason why he cannot get in the ring, because there's no sense of urgency that people are saying, let me put Ryan Garcia in the ring with so-and-so. It's a sense of urgency. Let's make it happen fast. No, they feel like the amount of people that support Ryan Garcia, they have plenty of time to make the right selective choice on who he steps in there with, and people are going to tune in. They're definitely going to tune in after all the ducks that he's been a part of. They're definitely going to tune in, because now it may be a larger fan base out there looking to see Ryan Garcia get his ass knocked out. How can you go in there and get sat down by Luke Campbell, get up and Luke Campbell do absolutely nothing? We talking about the same Luke Campbell who went the distance with Vasily Lomachenko for the vacant WBC title. After being dropped, he got back up and finished the fight, y'all. But now Ryan Garcia, you knock him down, he gets back up and he becomes Jason. I mean, what did you see? Freddy Krueger or Jason? Which one of those individuals you saw appear in the ring that you was all frightful and shit? That's puzzling to me on what I've seen. And people sit up here and praise him. Oh, he showed heart and determination. I tell you, it's not many boxers in the sport that's built like Ryan Garcia. I mean, God damn. I don't ask myself a question on what I'm missing. I totally get it. Prejudice, biasness, it's rampant in boxing. Some boxers could get away with triple homicide. That goes to the ones that's fucking just out here ducking like it's their next breath. Hey, Ryan, you want to fight Haney? Nope. And you know what? I'm not going to take any calls on that either. So let them know I have my attorneys handling this whole entire situation. So let them know. Stop calling me. Stop hitting me up in the DM. I'm going to start having people's pages taken down. Stop atting me. Stop atting me on IG. I'm going to have your page taken down. I'm not fighting Haney for my own reasons. Mental health. Okay? What about Javante? I thought I did. But once again, mental health. That's what Tyson Fury told me to say, mental health. I mean, come on, man. It's a motherfucking circus, dog. To me, Devin Haney is no boogeyman or nothing. He could beat a couple of top fighters. Yeah, I mean, he can't be the boogeyman, but yet they saying he's not popular and he don't sell tickets. So which one is it? You know what I'm saying? You tap dancing here. Is Devin Haney the boogeyman or he's not popular? But yet, if we're talking about the physical components, the anatomy that has been trained all these years to go in there and box, Devin Haney has everything that you're looking for in a boxer, right? Up to a point of when it comes to that equalizer. Some boxing fans, according to what era we in and what type of damn audience, they like to see fighters fight that has a little power, okay? They love to see fighters who has a lot of power. They like the fighters who has a little power. It's just enough to make the fight interesting and suspenseful. So they show up. They go buy a ticket. Haney went in there and fought Linares like he had power. He didn't hurt him to a point like Linares hurt him, but he was extremely aggressive fighting out the pocket. Like he was real close quarters phone boot. He was in close, and then Linares still couldn't fuck with him on the counter. He was gone. Poof, Zorro. That shit was, I mean, that's boxing, right? That's what you want to see. But if he just possessed some type of stopping power, if he can dig to the body and slow opponent down, and they really felt it, you know what I'm saying? If his hooks, if he could really stamp those hooks and hurt somebody, if he just had just a larger percentage of punching power, man, Devin Haney wouldn't even be in this situation. They trying to treat Devin Haney like Paulie Malignaggi, man. And I commend his pops for the labor intensive interviews and shit he does for his son. That's a lot of fucking work for Bill to be out here talking to individuals and not really knowing if the audience give a damn about what he's talking about or not. He can talk to the host all day long, but does the audience give a fuck about what he's talking about when it comes to Devin Haney? That's the bigger question. Because those are the individuals that's going to purchase the ticket and sit down and watch the fight. Those are the individuals going to be on YouTube in these live chats talking about what they witnessed or what their assessment is of Devin Haney. He's in a serious place right now where a change is going to have to be made, man. One way or the other, the change has to be made, bro. The change more so for his PR. It's weird for certain fighters that are top-notch names in the sport, but Devin Haney has to come up with another way on how to promote himself, because the fans are like treating him like he ain't shit. Like they're ostracizing Devin Haney right now. They treat him like a pariah of boxing. You know I'm not bullshitting. They treating this man like he's a pariah of boxing, bro. D Hodges in the building. Salute to you, G. How you feeling, man? So should he sign with Top Rank and shoot for TO? I never tell a man to sign with a promotion just in hope of getting a fight with Teofimo Lopez. We already know how promoters are. We're dealing with one of the longest reigning tyrants in the sport, Bob Arum. We're talking about a boxing maverick. That's a tough question. Because if I was in that position, Of course, I would know what's being said behind the scenes, that money, man. So I really can't tell you if I would be the one to instruct my son to say, hey, go over the top rank. Of course, his dad's going to be there. Bill's going to be there. And they're going to have to sit down with their people and they're going to have to see what's the fine details. Am I guaranteed a fight with Teofimo Lopez after Vasily Lomachenko if he wins? We have to see if he get past Vasily Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're talking about Teofimo dropping his IBF belt and not fighting George Kambosos in Australia. So that's a huge, heavy, front-loaded question right there. Because if he goes over there, this is a perfect example of that money, man. If he goes over there to top rank and Teofimo loses, now what? A contract is a contract. Now, if the contract says he gets the winner of Lomachenko Lopez, cool. But it can be as if it was Deontay Wilder's contract that was sent out and they try to sign him to a 3-fight deal, not guaranteeing Anthony Joshua will be into the equation. That would be fucked up. If he signed on to face Teofimo Lopez, and that's what the language says, and Lopez loses in the rematch against Lomachenko, now Lomachenko has the belts. You want to go back in there and renegotiate? Bob Arum, no. We talked about this. I told you if Lopez loses, you have to find another name. That other name, I did not guarantee you the winner of the fight. What I can assure you is that you will be fighting somebody in the top 15. It might be Shaglov Okhtabadhev. He's ranked about 13th. All right. Or Dan Middleton. He's somewhere down there in the bottom half. I'm telling you, man. You look. That's a front-loaded question, man. And it all has to do with the language. You know, what the Haneys are trying to do is be independent, make their money, get their respect. But it's tough out there for them. They're on gravel right now, that money, man. Team Haney on gravel right now. Like they might be living as if it's a paved road. Real talk. Their income and their money that they're making, Devin Haney making money. And I don't get into that shit. But right now, when it comes to his boxing, his professional sport that he makes his living off of, the people are not giving him respect. And he can't go out there and take respect because he don't know who to take it from. The only way he's going to get respect in the sport of boxing is performance. Haney will earn the respect of boxing fans through his performance. And I can tell you a numero uno reason why he's not popular with the fans. He has no personality. He ain't doing backflips in the ring. He ain't goddamn jumping off the top rope like Tank. Come on now. Devin Haney don't have a personality, man. He looked the same in every interview, sound the same, and that's a huge part on why the fans don't gravitate to him. I'm not saying that Canelo is one of those individuals that's all outspoken, rambunctious. That's not Canelo. The only time we're really seeing Canelo theatrical is recently when, Demetrius Andrade was trying to shoot his shot. And he wanted to say payday, and all this other shit, right? But with Devin Haney's, he looks the same, he sounds the same, and people just don't know, okay, you don't have any, they say you don't have any power, but he can box. They're just trying to find something to latch on to with Devin Haney. And he's probably looking at it like, I'm going to be myself regardless. I'm not about it. In order for you to get on PPV and start making some money, you got to be more user-friendly to the fan base. His fan base. He has to. He needs to start connecting with his fan base because Ryan Garcia, he just has that quirky, goofy personality where people say, oh, let me go up here and follow Ryan Garcia. I don't have anything else to do. I want to go follow Ryan Garcia. Did he put another video out? Did he make another flash video? See, that's the shit Ryan Garcia did to connect with his fan base. I'm not trying to preach to y'all. That's what Ryan Garcia did. What has Devin Haney did to connect with his fan base outside of boxing? Everybody know you live in lavish, affluent lifestyle. Kudos and salute to you for the hard work and dedication, man. I am no way, shape, or form speaking on that. But when it comes to your connection with your fan base and you're trying to build up followers that can connect with you. Like when I spoke to Devin Haney in person, I didn't see nothing wrong with it. And the crazy part about it, when I was growing up, I was just like Devin Haney. I really didn't speak to people. I was short on conversation. It wasn't because I was antisocial. It's just what I went through in my childhood. That's all. I just felt closed down and I felt comfortable with being limited in my conversation. But when it comes to Devin Haney, he's in a sport where there's millions of people watching and he has to make a change, man. He has to come out and he needs to find something so we can connect. Like they done seen the luxury vehicles. They done seen your fashion, all that. What else is it that they can link up to? Ryan Garcia is out here making videos. Teofimo Lopez is every goddamn where. These are people that's in your division. Gervonta Davis, you know what it is. He popping up whenever he feel like. He going in there knocking motherfuckers out on PPV. People want to see him get on the top rope again and do a damn backflip layout. I mean, you gotta find that dynamic, Haney. That's all. If Devin had power, he would be a smaller Ennis. Yes, sir. Good analogy. Good analogy. If Money Man, now Boots is different in his own way, and he has number one trainer. Aaron, I kind of agree with Money Man in that analogy. Why? Because Boots can box too. And they have very good footwork. Devin Haney can box. But Boots has what Devin Haney does not. We already know what it is. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with it, bro. Both have great feet and good head movement and great jab. Ennis switching has power. Yeah, you know, the one thing about Ennis, once again, that I put above Devin Haney is his variety. You know what I'm saying? He has more than a toolbox. And he has that power. And it's going to show when he start moving up and facing those names. He is. Look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence is not a power puncher, but he has enough. Errol Spence has enough power to do damage. No, hey, we don't care when the damage is applicable. He has enough power to get the shit done, right? We seen him beat the damn soul out of Danny Garcia. We seen him in a one-sided victory over Mikey Garcia. So he moved the Garcias out the way, get the broom, sweep that ass, sweep it all out the way. We seen him go in there and go mano a mano with Sean Porter, dropping him in 11. So Errol Spence has a certain percentage of power. Terrence Crawford, same thing. Keith Thurman, same thing. So we'll see. To be honest, to me, Devin just wants the money and the fame. And that thought has crossed my mind too, Aaron. Because, you know, once again, I'm one that has been critical because I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm tired of seeing you taking pictures, looking at the ground and trying to be a model. Are you going to be a boxer or a model? Like, I don't give a damn if a man get on here without a shirt and he's basically presenting himself to the ladies and he's trying to be more of a heartthrob type of entity. I don't have no problem with that. Do what you got to do. But even with the women, if the women cannot find one entryway or one avenue to say, okay, I feel like I'm somehow, some way attached to him, they're not gonna fuck with you. Like, you have to be smart in how to draw women in that will probably never meet you in their life. You have to jump on IG. Even if you got a girl, she has to understand you got to jump on IG and interact with your fan base. Women, you gotta find a way for them to connect with you, knowing that they may never see you in their entire life. Those people who may support you when you have a fight. You say some kind words here and there, flirt a little bit, I mean, get them to, believe that there's a connection, and then keep it moving. That's all I gotta say. I'm not a life coach. But it was one point in time when I thought he was just all about, saying that he make the same amount of money as Teofimo Lopez. He's getting paid. I get it. But if you go your entire career without fighting on PPV, so are you basically saying now is the end up a lot more opportunity for you to negotiate your contract when it comes to the money, and you're just going to get paid extensively that way? I don't think it's going to play out like that, bro. Like, just because you're independent, it's a lot of boxers out here independent, but just because you're independent and you head into the negotiation table, you're going to be able to negotiate higher numbers through DHP. I mean, I don't know, man. You work your magic. Like I said, I don't like getting into people's money. The money is all them. But when the money affects boxing, when I say money affects boxing, we want to see the best fighting the best, but a lot of times it's deterred because certain individuals want to either lowball the B side, or they want to come in this motherfucker asking an astronomical price, which the promoter is like, nah, fuck that. I ain't putting that money up. You're not even fighting on PPV yet. Are you even fighting on PPV? If you ever go to Gervonta Davis there, Devin Haney, it's going to be a hard fight to sell when he continues to do PPV. They made the decision to change over to the pay-per-view model for Gervonta Davis. It's going to be difficult for any fighter to go up there, i.e. Ryan Garcia, and say that you are the A side. You must have lost your fucking mind. How you going to be the A side with Gervonta? The fans don't rock with him because every time he does an interview, he talking bad about other fighters. It's never about him or what he has going on. And nobody wants to see that but internet trolls. Somebody salute that man and give him a badge. That's exactly what I'm saying. I was ridiculed for speaking my truth and others weren't. You know what I'm saying? Others can go in and say this, that, and the other about Devin Haney. But if I'm up here saying the same shit that Aaron is saying, then it's all critical. And I'm pretty much ridiculed out my name. But no, that shit don't affect me, because when it comes down to it, it ain't nothing personal with Devin. It's just a point. I'm kicking real live shit. I'm not jumping on here saying his name every day. Skip mark. But when it comes down to this fight game right here, Aaron hit that shit on the head again. What are the fans? Who are the fans? What do they have? What is exuding from your interviews? They say, man, I fuck with Devin. All right, cool. I mean, his interviews are boring. His tone is boring. His personality is boring. He needs to get with his PR, switch that shit up, and become more vibrant, outgoing. You know what I'm saying? Change it up so you can be more approachable from the fans, so they can feel more connected to you, bro. Or else you're just gonna be going around saying I'm independent. I'm making the same money. Okay, when you move to 140, oh man, I'm still making more money. I'm making millions, but you can make an incredibly amount of more millions if you promote yourself different and the fans connect with you. That's all I'm saying. My kids know Devin because of his girlfriend. Damn, he said his kids know Devin because of his girl. Well, okay. That's one way on how to draw fans in. But listen, money man, your kids got to go to you. Say, Dad, I want to ask you something. I want to get your take. That guy that I say, got that girl, his girl, he fighting. Is this something we should watch? Are you paying for it? Are you getting a fight or what? They're not sure. If they paying attention to his girl, they're gonna ask you, "Hey, Dad, are you paying for PPV? Or is it gonna be a good fight? Who is he fighting?" Because all I know is his girl, man. His girl IG is popping. His girl IG is popping. But I don't know too much about him though. Are we getting a fight or not? I don't know. Are we going to a sports bar? We going to a restaurant. What we doing with this shit? Is this girl gonna be there? If this girl gonna be there, I want to go. Arrow body attack is serious. Yeah. Arrow is, look, I still think Terrence Crawford is the best welterweight in the sport. But Arrow is the truth. I just hope everything is cool. Like I told people before, without getting off topic, I ran motorcycles for a long time. I seen cats die. I have. And we're on a two-wheel vehicle at high speeds, having accidents with a helmet on and still getting concussions, right? So what Errol Spence experienced in his accident, I just hope right now he seems to be fine, but he doesn't all the way 100% to me. All right. It doesn't matter how ripped you come in, but he doesn't seem like he's all the way there the way he was before the accident. So with brain damage or CTE debilitation, it may continue to degrade itself over time because Errol Spence isn't taken off from the sport. Like he's still active in the sport where you're going to take punishment to the head. Like Deontay Wilder said, the head isn't meant to be hit. So if Errol Spence landed on a slab of concrete once he was ejected from his vehicle and suffered brain, come on, man. That's your skull, and your brain is encased inside your skull. That doesn't mean you don't have tissue outside of your skull. We have to see. But Errol Spence is the truth, man. He broke an eye socket too. It's a lot of shit that happened to Errol Spence out of that accident, man. Like, I would have rather stayed in the car. Not that particular accident. Okay, let me get that straight. But I'm saying how, you hit an airbag and you survive, but it was a bad accident. But you're still good. But with Errol Spence, we don't know how high he was ejected from the vehicle and then the impact of him landing on the pavement. It was brutal. Teeth knocked out and everything. It was brutal, man. But thank God, man, salute to him for surviving that. I don't have no problem with him getting the money at all. But you got to show us something, because even though he a free agent, Eddie Hearn still is not going to get him no fights. Man, y'all cooking today. Salute to the chat. Salute to the motherfucking chat. God damn it. Damn, y'all cooking. This shit that I don't even have to damn debate. Y'all, I mean, is it another holiday coming up? Meat is already on the grill cooking, God damn it. I absolutely agree with you. If Eddie Hearns is not getting him any fights, I mean, come on, man. Like you're not contractually binded, but is he getting you any fights? Like Aaron said, is he getting you any fights, bro? What is the benefit of being independent and you're still dependent? That's all I'm saying. What's the point of being independent when you're still dependent? Do you think Al would make Devin tank if Devin signed to PBC? The one huge obstacle that's dividing that stream flow right there. All right. One huge figure that would shut that shit down. And it's up to him. And it's not Al Heyman, it's Floyd Money Mayweather. He is the mediator between that, not Al Heyman. Gervonta Davis is signed to Floyd Mayweather. And Mayweather's been with Al Heyman for a long time, ever since Al Heyman decided to take on Floyd and cancel out that debt. Floyd's been winning ever since. So it has absolutely, I'm pretty sure Al Heyman has a little bit, Floyd to sit down and speak to him, but it has a lot to do with how Floyd wants to move Gervonta Davis. I think the consignment is strictly how Floyd wants to move him. I'm not saying Al Heyman don't have no say so, but what I'm saying is it's meticulously being strategized by Floyd Mayweather on how he moving Tank. That's his cash cow. Internet trolls are not going to buy your fights. They'll crack him, though. They'll crack him. I feel the same about his accident. That was hell to go through. Listen, man. Listen. Like I said before, I done seen cats lose their life with a helmet on. I've seen cats on motorcycles lose their life with a helmet on. I know some people say, well, it's just like having boxing headgear. Okay, it's there to protect the head, right? I've seen cats that wasn't ejected out of a vehicle, but they did run into an obstacle, or they hit an object that was in front of them in the back of a car, another motorcycle, or lost control of the bike, went into oncoming traffic. It's so many ways, but I've seen cats, the accident didn't look that serious, but when you walked up to them, they was unresponsive, and they had lost their life. They was DOA. So when Errol Spence was ejected from the vehicle, it's not a topic I want to go into right now because he has a fight coming up with Manny Pacquiao. So I really don't want to dilute Errol Spence's rise right now. Errol Spence is coming off a Danny Garcia beatdown, and he's about to step in there with a boxing legend, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know what I'm saying? Multi-division champion Manny Pacquiao. And it's good. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I wish it was Terrence Crawford fight Manny Pacquiao and not Errol Spence. That's just me. I was really hoping to build up Terrence Crawford resume to be able to get this undisputed. But when they basically put Manny Pacquiao in recess and elevated Yordenis Ugas, and then decided, well, we put you in recess, but in during that time, we decided to close down the playground and turn it into a little food mart. So everything is voided out there, Manny Pacquiao. Okay, we're not reinstating you. I mean, wasn't that the whole thing of recess? Like, I have to say this: Devin Haney was actually in recess because he had an injury. Manny Pacquiao was in recess because of his royalty. It wasn't shit wrong with Manny Pacquiao. He was just in recess because he could be. But I'm not going to lie to you, I was a bit confused when the topic started to hit this, float on the surface and saying that the WBA title would be into the equation with Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. I was like, great. Now we have three titles in this, and we have one more over there with Terrence Bud Crawford. So I know now we absolutely getting this undisputed welterweight championship. Nope. Now I don't know what the fuck to think. I don't know when Yordenis Ugas is going to come in the equation. If Terrence Crawford goes in here and he defeats Sean Porter and all that, will Yordenis Ugas be around to fight a Terrence Crawford? Because I'm still hoping for a 2-belt, just like we had Jose Ramirez and Josh Taylor. I'm looking for both of these champions to have 2 belts and fight for all the marbles. Not to mention, people, that both of these guys are on the pound for pound list. Josh Taylor wasn't on the pound for pound list before he beat Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez wasn't even on the pound for pound. But since he was able to do it in a 4-belt era, they put him on the pound for pound ahead of Errol Spence. Damn. They put him on the pound for pound in front of Teofimo Lopez. And we all know why that is. It's the WBC franchise belt. That's why. Oh, man. But, man, hey, that's some that shit is going on, man. I'm pretty sure they going back. This wasn't a damn hate lie for Devin Haney, but he definitely needed to change up his PR. He needed to find a way to link up with his fan base. I mean, a lot of people out here not living your lifestyle, so they can continue to see you. The reason why people link up with Floyd Mayweather is because the way he was performing in the ring. So when he started down boasting and bragging and showing out and letting you know what expensive cars he has and how he living, people say, all right, cool. All right, man, that's okay. All right. They was able to link up with Floyd Mayweather because of what he did in the ring and how he was living outside the ring. When people continue to compare Devin Haney to Floyd Mayweather, it only makes it hard on Devin Haney, because Devin Haney wasn't doing what Floyd was doing back then. So there you go. It's tough. Just be Devin Haney and fuck with everybody else talking about he's the next. He's the next. I get tired of motherfuckers comparing another black fighter to damn Floyd Mayweather. Let the shit go. Let it go, dog. Y'all not sitting up here comparing people to Muhammad Ali. Who y'all comparing to Mike Tyson? Who y'all comparing to Holyfield? You can't. Who y'all comparing to Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker? Jermaine Taylor? Who? I don't see y'all comparing anybody to Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard had fast hands, but I don't hear people comparing any black fighters to Sugar Ray Leonard. They want to latch on to Floyd Mayweather because he's what he want to be in boxing. People still are living vicariously through Floyd Mayweather's wealth, and they like to see him show up to the fight with jewelry on, expensive cars, and shit like that. And they respect him enough for his boxing career to give him that attention. But Devin Haney, he's far from that. So, whoever's out here on this live or whatever, y'all support Devin Haney, however you feel like. Pass the word that when he switches up, his PR team and his, how to communicate with his fan base, socialize, communication is everything. It's only so far you can go with these pictures because a lot of us is not millionaires. So, hey, there we go. That's what it is, bro. But, man, it's been a pleasure, man. Salute. I hope y'all hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Because it's crazy that, people come in here and they don't hit the like button. Man, hit the like button. Once again, I appreciate one love to everyone who showed up. You know what I'm saying? Boots on deck. Shout out to the United States Marines. Hoorah. Simple Fidelis all day, every day. You know what it is, man. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6th sense for imposters, so now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try to catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan.